warning, they laughed. 8. The Empire ruled the galaxy for more than 5,000 cycles. Its fleets had burned stars, crushed worlds, and erased entire species. No border could stop them. No army could slow them. At the center of the Empire, on a floating command world made of metal and light, the High Council gathered. Tall beings with cold eyes watched holograms of the galaxy spin before them. Another expansion was coming, and they expected no resistance. One system on the edge of the map began to glow. A small yellow star, 8 planets, one marked in blue and green. A junior officer stepped forward, nervous and unsure. He spoke carefully, knowing mistakes meant death. This system is marked, restricted. It is called Terran territory. The council chamber filled with soft laughter. Restricted zones existed only for weak races. The Empire feared nothing. What makes this world special? The Grand Admiral asked. His voice was calm, sharp, and bored. The officer swallowed and activated a recording. A simple human voice filled the room, steady and emotionless. This is a Terran warning. Do not enter our space. Turn back now. Trespassing will be answered with force. Silence followed. Then the laughter returned, louder than before. That is all? The Admiral asked. No threats, no demands, no display of power. Yes, Commander, the officer replied. That was the full message. The council laughed again. They had faced gods and monsters. Now a single quiet voice tried to stop them. The Empire studied the data. Human technology looked outdated. Their ships were fewer, slower, and smaller. Their colonies were limited to one system. Primitive, one council member said. Afraid, said another. But something strange appeared on the map. Every empire that had ever crossed into Terran space had vanished. No wreckage, no signals, no survivors. The data was old and incomplete. Most records were marked, lost, or corrupted. The council ignored it. Coincidence, the Admiral declared. We will show them what true power looks like. Orders were given instantly. A fleet of 100 warships was prepared. Each ship carried weapons strong enough to crack planets. As the fleet moved toward Terran space, another message arrived. This one shorter, clear, and final. You were warned. The Admiral smiled. He ordered the message deleted. Human words meant nothing to the Empire. The fleet crossed the invisible border into Terran territory. No alarms sounded. No defense systems activated. Space looked empty and quiet. This is too easy, a captain said from the front ship. There is nothing here. Then sensors began to fail. Long-range scans went dark. Communication lines flickered. One ship vanished from the formation. No explosion, no signal, just gone. The fleet stopped, confusion spreading. Another ship disappeared. Then another. Panic slowly replaced pride. The Empire had entered many traps before, but this felt different. A final message appeared on every screen at once. The same calm human voice returned. This is Terran space. You chose not to listen. The Admiral tried to give orders, but no one answered. The fleet was no longer alone, and somewhere in the darkness, humanity was watching. The fleet that never came, Bas Catha, Imperial fleet, drifted inside Terran space, confused and afraid. What should have been a simple invasion now felt like a silent hunt. Admiral Corrin stood on the bridge of the flagship, watching empty space. No enemy ships appeared, no weapons fired, yet his fleet was shrinking. Another warship vanished without sound. Its signal cut mid-sentence. No debris followed. Report. The Admiral demanded. His voice tried to sound strong, but fear leaked through. We cannot locate the missing ships. An officer replied. They are not destroyed. They are simply gone. The crew exchanged nervous looks. Empire doctrine taught them to face enemies, not shadows. Long-range sensors failed completely. Short-range scans showed strange readings. Space itself seemed to bend and blur. A captain from the second wing tried to retreat. His ship turned around, engines burning hard. But before it could leave, the vessel froze in place. The crew watched in horror as the ship folded inward, like metal crushed by invisible hands. Then it vanished. No explosion, no scream, only silence. Panic spread across the fleet. Pilots shouted into dead channels. Command codes failed to respond. These are not normal weapons, one officer whispered. They are controlling space. The Admiral clenched his claws. Such power was impossible. No known race could bend reality like this. Another ship tried to fire blindly into the dark. Plasma bolts vanished after a few seconds, as if swallowed by nothing. Then the fleet received a transmission, not from outside, but from within their own systems. The Terran voice returned, calm and steady. "We see every move you make. You cannot hide. You cannot escape." Some crew members collapsed in fear. Others stared at the screens in shock. The Empire had faced loud enemies before. Roaring beasts, burning fleets, violent warriors. But humans were different. They did not shout. They did not rush. They waited, one by one. Terran weapons activated. Ships lost power instantly. Engines shut down. Weapons went offline. Imperial technology, once feared across the galaxy, became useless. Like toys in the hands of children, a scout ship tried to send a distress call back to the Empire. The message escaped Terran space for a brief moment. Then the ship vanished too. The message arrived, damaged and broken. Static filled most of it. Only one sentence was clear. "They are not attacking. They are judging us." The remaining fleet tried to regroup, but formation meant nothing now. Terran space ignored their tactics. A massive shadow passed over the flagship. No shape, no outline, just darkness moving against the stars. Crew members screamed as gravity shifted. The floor became the wall became the ceiling. Admiral Corrin struggled to stand. For the first time in his life, he felt small. The Terran voice spoke one last time. "You crossed a line drawn in blood. This fleet will not return." Screens went black across the bridge. Power drained from every system. The stars outside twisted and faded. The Imperial fleet, pride of the galaxy, disappeared without a trace. No battle, no victory song, no survivors, far beyond Terran space. The Empire waited for its fleet to return. Days passed, then weeks. No signal ever came back. Only silence answered the Empire's call, and the galaxy began to whisper. Humans had not defended their space. They had erased a warning. Who are the Terrans? RLLV. The Empire could not accept the silence. 100 warships did not vanish without reason. Fear spread quietly through the highest levels of command. The High Council ordered a full investigation, not a search for ships, but a search for truth. Archivists opened sealed data vaults. Ancient records, forbidden files, and lost histories were pulled into the light. The name Terran appeared again and again. Most files were damaged. Entire wars were missing. Star maps ended suddenly near the Terran system. This alone frightened the Council. The Empire erased enemies, but someone had erased knowledge itself. A senior analyst spoke carefully. Terrans do not expand like others. They do not conquer. They do not demand. They watch. The Council listened in silence. Human history was studied. They learned humans came from a harsh world, a planet of storms, predators, and endless conflict. Humans fought each other for thousands of years. They survived world wars, nuclear fire, and near extinction. Each disaster made them stronger, not weaker. They learned patience through suffering, the analyst said. They learned restraint through loss. The Empire expected a young race, but humans were old in spirit, forged by pain long before they reached the stars. Old military reports revealed something terrifying. Humans had faced an ancient galactic race long ago, a race that once ruled many systems. That race no longer existed. Its name was scratched out of history. Only one note remained, neutralized by Terrans. The Council demanded proof, but proof no longer existed. Only silence followed the Terrans wherever they acted. Another analyst spoke. Terrans do not show power unless forced. They believe fear is a weakness. Preparation is their true weapon. The Council began to understand. The warning was not a bluff. It was a promise. More data revealed Terran doctrine. Every system had layers of hidden defenses, weapons designed not to destroy planets, but to control space, time, and energy. They did not fight to win battles. They fought to end threats forever. A chilling realization spread across the chamber. The Empire had not faced an enemy. They had walked into a judgment zone. An emergency alert interrupted the meeting. A new Terran message appeared on all Council screens. The same calm human voice spoke again. "You have studied us. You now understand." The Council froze. How do they know? One member whispered. The message continued. "We do not seek war, but we will not allow invasion." Then came the final line. "This was your last warning." The message ended. The chamber remained silent. The Empire had conquered thousands of worlds, but for the first time, it felt fear without knowing how to fight it. The truth was clear now. Humans were not hiding. They were waiting. The Empire attacks EARTH fear did not stop the Empire. It only wounded its pride. The High Council made a final decision. They would attack Earth directly. They believed overwhelming force would end the Terran threat forever. Across the galaxy, massive shipyards awakened. Millions of warships were prepared. Soldiers, machines, and weapons gathered for total war. This was not a warning strike. This was extermination. The Imperial Armada moved toward the Sol system, so large it bent hyperspace lanes, so powerful it had destroyed civilizations before even reaching orbit. From the Empire's view, Earth looked small. One planet, one star. No visible defense grid. No fleets waiting at the border. Imperial commanders mocked the silence. They are afraid, one general said. They know this is the end. But Earth was not afraid. Earth was ready as the first Imperial ships entered the outer system. Strange readings appeared on their screens. Gravity fields shifted. Time signals drifted out of sync. Officers reported errors. Navigation systems failed. Some ships arrived seconds too early, others too late. Still, the Armada advanced. When Imperial ships reached Earth's orbit, human cities were visible below. Lights glowing, oceans calm, no sign of evacuation. This makes no sense, an Imperial captain whispered. Then Earth responded, not with words, but with action. Space around the planet rippled. Invisible structures revealed themselves. Massive defense platforms unfolded from nothing. Terran fleets emerged from hidden zones. Not millions, not even thousands, just enough. Human ships were smaller, simple in design, but every movement was precise. The first Terran weapon activated. It did not fire a beam or missile. It rewrote gravity. Imperial ships closest to Earth were crushed inward. Armor folded like thin metal. Entire fleets collapsed into silent spheres. Panic spread instantly. Imperial weapons fired wildly. Plasma and energy bolts vanished before reaching their targets. Terran defenses absorbed everything, adjusted, and learned. Human commanders spoke calmly. Orders were short and clear. No shouting, no chaos. Civilians on Earth watched from underground shelters. They trusted their defenders. They trusted history. The Empire realized too late. Earth was not unprotected. It was bait. As more Terran systems activated, space itself became hostile. Imperial ships lost control. Fleets crashed into each other. The Empire had planned to conquer a world, but instead, they had entered a battlefield designed over centuries. Above Earth, the Imperial Armada began to break, not from strength, but from perfect preparation. And for the first time in galactic history, the Empire understood one terrifying truth. They had started a war they could not win. Terran just ether battle did not last long. Once the Empire understood the truth, it was already over. Imperial fleets broke apart above Earth, not destroyed in fire, but disabled, frozen, and trapped. Human weapons did not seek chaos. They sought control. Engines shut down, weapons went silent. Power systems faded into darkness. Across space, Imperial commanders screamed orders, but no command worked anymore. Terran systems had taken control of everything. Above the shattered Armada, a single Terran vessel moved forward. It was small, plain, almost humble, yet every Imperial sensor locked onto it, not by force, but by fear. A transmission opened on all Imperial channels. The same calm human voice spoke. This conflict is finished. You have lost. The Imperial Emperor watched from his throne world. His fleets were gone, his power broken in silence. For the first time, the Emperor felt helpless. Terran forces did something unexpected. They did not destroy the remaining ships. They boarded them. Human soldiers moved with discipline, faces hidden behind simple armor. No rage, no celebration. Imperial leaders were captured alive, including the Emperor himself. He was brought before a Terran council. The room was simple. No gold, no symbols of power, only quiet strength. The Emperor expected execution, pain, revenge. Instead, a Terran representative spoke calmly. You were warned. You chose not to listen. Screens activated around the chamber, showing destroyed fleets, vanished ships, broken armor. Every loss was preventable. The human continued. We defend our space. We protect our people. The Emperor tried to speak, but no words came. The Terran voice remained steady. We do not conquer empires. We remove threats. The Empire's leaders understood then. This was not cruelty. This was judgment. Terrans offered a choice. Surrender completely, or lose everything. No shouting followed. No debate. The Emperor lowered his head. The Empire surrendered. Across the galaxy, Terran forces withdrew. They did not occupy worlds. They did not take resources. They left behind only one message, clear and absolute. Terran space is forbidden, respected, or face the consequences. The galaxy watched in silence. Power had changed hands, not through domination, but through restraint. Humanity had won, not by destroying an empire, but by proving why it should never be challenged. The price of trespassing Terran space. The galaxy changed after the war, not with celebration, not with songs, but with silence. The empire still existed, but it was no longer feared. Its fleets were limited, its borders reduced, its pride broken forever. A new law spread across star systems, passed quietly, accepted quickly. Terran space was marked in deep red on every galactic map. No ship was allowed to enter, no signal was allowed to probe, no question was allowed to be asked. Merchants rerouted their paths, explorers turned away, pirates vanished from nearby systems. Everyone remembered what happened to the empire. On Earth, life returned to normal. Cities rebuilt small damages. Children went to school. Skies remained calm. Humans did not celebrate victory. They did not build statues. They did not tell stories of glory. They returned to their silence. Terran fleets withdrew into hidden space. Defense systems powered down but never slept. Earth became quiet once more. Far away, the former emperor sat alone, alive, but defeated. He replayed the Terran messages again and again. Each word calm, each warning clear. They did not threaten, he whispered. They promised. Other empires learned from his mistake. Diplomats chose words carefully. Military leaders chose restraint. For the first time in galactic history, power was measured not by size of fleets, but by wisdom. Old legends slowly returned. Whispers of an ancient race erased long ago, now understood. It was not magic that destroyed them. It was humanity. Terrans became something new in the galaxy. Not rulers, not conquerors, but guardians. They did not patrol space. They did not enforce laws. They simply waited. And that was enough. Centuries later, young species asked about the red-marked system. Elders answered with fear and respect. That is Terran space. They will leave you alone. If you leave them alone, one final Terran message remained stored in every major archive. Never updated, never changed. We do not seek war, but we will end it. The galaxy remembered the lesson. Too late for the empire, but just in time for everyone else. Because humanity had shown the truth. Trespassing Terran territory does not bring battle. It brings an ending. The war ended without victory songs. There were no parades, no loud celebrations, only a deep and lasting silence. The empire survived, but it was no longer the same. Its fleets were reduced, its borders were smaller, its power was watched by everyone. Across the galaxy, a new rule spread quietly. No vote was needed, no force was required. Terran space was marked in red on every star map, bright and clear, a warning no one dared to test. Trade routes changed overnight. Explorers erased old plans. Pirates avoided nearby systems. Everyone remembered what happened to the empire. On Earth, people returned to their lives. Cities repaired minor damage. Ships returned to docks. Families looked up at calm skies. Humans did not speak of glory. They did not call themselves heroes. To them, the war was only defense. Terran fleets vanished into hidden space. Defense systems remained silent but alert. Earth once again looked unprotected. But now the galaxy knew better. Far away, the former emperor lived in quiet exile, alive by Terran choice, haunted by Terran restraint. He replayed the warning messages again and again, each one calm, each one honest. They never lied, he said softly. We chose not to listen. Other empires learned from his mistake. Councils chose caution, commanders chose patience. For the first time in galactic history, strength was not measured by fleet size, but by control. Old records were reopened. Ancient mysteries finally made sense. Entire civilizations had vanished, not by accident, but by consequence. Humanity was not cruel, but it was final. Terrans did not rule the galaxy. They did not enforce peace. They simply existed behind a line no one crossed. And that line was enough. Centuries passed. New species rose among the stars. Young explorers asked about the red-marked system. Elders answered with respect and fear. That is Terran space. They will never attack you, if you never test them. One Terran message was stored in every major archive, never edited, never removed. We do not seek war, but we will end threats. The galaxy remembered this lesson well, because the Empire had paid the price. Trespassing Terran territory does not bring battle, it brings silence.